Welcome to Grit to Glow, the podcast for moms, entrepreneurs, and women ready to step into their power. I'm Naomi, your host, mama, business coach, and unapologetic go-getter. Here, we're keeping it real. We will dive into the unfiltered heart of motherhood, entrepreneurship, and some of life's messiest moments. Because let's face it, growth doesn't happen without the grit. But the glow, that, my friends, is the magic that we create. You can expect tangible life and business support, juicy insights, and the raw truth about what it really takes to build the life and the business of your dreams. So, let's get glowing. Welcome back to our next episode of the Seven Figure CEO series. I am here with Annie. Annie Whitney is a business mentor and the Audacious AF founder of a movement built for the woman who's done playing small. After scaling a multi-six-figure business while raising two kids and leading a team at a $500 million startup, she stopped teaching women how to become magnetic and started reminding them that they already are. Her work blends strategy, identity work, and soul-sourced leadership. So her clients not only scale in their business, they also become the woman who leads movements. MBA in one hand, matcha in the other, Annie is known for turning quiet confidence into known brands. And whether it's 20K months or wildly allowing freedom, she helps women go after it without settling, without diluting, or explaining a damn thing to anyone. So I'm so excited to welcome you onto the podcast today, Annie. How are you today?
I'm doing so well and just can't say that I don't love that introduction. It's amazing. How are you doing? I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited too. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think that there's so much conversation to be had with, like, intros aside, your journey and experience in scaling a business, not just while running your business, but also alongside of the work that you do in your corporate job is so inspiring. And I'm so excited for my listeners on the podcast to really hear the journey that you've been through and like hear what it means to you to scale, to show up as yourself, and to really kind of decondition some of the things along the way of like people pleasing or even what it takes to really scale a business alongside of all of the facets of your life. I know we both shared the commonality that we're moms, and so like even that, it's like there's so much duality that you can hold in running a business and getting to be all the other phenomenal things that you get to be in this life. And so I'm just excited to share your insight on that.
Yes, I'm so excited. And it's interesting. I talk to a lot of other entrepreneurs that they're like, I almost wish I didn't know what it was like to scale a business without kids. And I have that. I am lucky to have that where I don't know what it would have been like to quote unquote have all the time in the world, right? It's like, I think that's actually helped me scale faster because not only are they my why, right? True freedom, show them that anything is possible in this world. You don't have to become a doctor and a lawyer or whatever looks appropriate that we've been conditioned to believe is the picture of success. We get to choose. And so I'm showing them not only what it looks like to choose, but that they are going to be set up for generational wealth where they get to choose anything. And so that really is, the deep down mission of choice and true freedom, which to me, like luxury and wealth doesn't always look like the bougie handbag. It looks like showing up as you and feeling that you have that choice. Like you can't see me right now, but me here today showing up in, a t-shirt with my hair frizzy from the rain. It's like I feel just as beautiful and free as I do when I'm dressed to the nines. And so that is a lot of like what my business and brand is about. It's that deconditioning from what society has told us is and is not either accepted or the epitome of success and rewriting that narrative. And so I am so embodied in this work because I just was an absolute people pleaser. I said yes at the detriment of truly my mental health to everyone but me. And having children was actually the thing that helped me finally start setting my boundaries of like, no, like they do come first before my work, and I do have to get home and pick them up. And so that was kind of the beginning of the end of the self work and the inner work that I needed to do to put me first.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. It's so true. And I think it's interesting that you say like I'm fortunate that I, started building your business after having kids and that you don't really know anything but that because the same is for me. I didn't start actually building an online business until after I became a mom too. And that was like the reason why I started my business was I was working full time and I knew that eventually I wanted the flexibility to either be able to stay home or even if I didn't, like, what is that going to look like? And I know you have such a fun story because it's like you didn't build your business to escape this job that you're miserable at. In fact, it's enhanced your experience there and you've had so much success along the way of scaling your online business within your corporate job too. And so it's just really cool because it's like there doesn't have to be this standard picture of what it looks like. And I think we sometimes box ourselves into that, right? We say, oh, well, she's saying that I have to do it this way, or she's doing it this way. And so, like, if I want to be successful, then I have to quit my 9 to 5. And I think you even had a post that you did today about that, where it's like people probably told you along the way, like, those are the things you have to do if you want to grow this. And you've totally rewritten that narrative.
Absolutely. And I early on had a mentor that told me, like, you're never going to be able to scale this to 6 or 7 figures while you have, this 9 to 5. And I get conceptually and logically, it's like, yeah, I don't have all the time in the world, but that's actually been a forcing function to get more efficient, to really have my time, value increasing that and my investments and the people that I put myself around. And I think so many people see what meets the eye, but they don't see the last 2 decades of my corporate experience and what I've built to really expand my capacity around being able to hold this energetically right now. And so it's like I have my MBA, I also have, 10 years of experience in scaling businesses, mergers and acquisitions, as well as, doing operations at different health systems. And so I have all of this experience, and then I have done quite a bit of work in sales, whether it was hand sales and wines or multi six-figure sales right now at my corporation. It's like I have vast experience. And it's interestingly enough, when I first came into the online space, I almost discredited all of this real world experience that I had because of the conditioning in the online space. So it's like conditioning has been a theme. It's like, here's what you're supposed to do: go to school, climb the ladder, in your corporate career. And it's like, I did all of that. And on paper, my life looks just so phenomenal, but
Yeah.
it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for what the freedom that I longed for. And while I do love my corporate career, the ultimate goal is, because I've built this business in a way where I truly take 2, max 3 calls a week and I work a few hours a day, is that when I quit that job, oh my gosh, my schedule is going to be filled with so much white space that I'm not just going to fill with more work. It's like, yes, of course, more impact because I actually love what I do. Like I could do this 12 hours a day if I didn't stop myself, but also filled with, yeah, I'm going to go get my kids early and we're going to go spend time together, like present, not with me on my phone saying, hey, just a second, honey.
Yep. Yep. I love that. Or, taking those vacations and actually being on vacation, not like, oh, I feeling obligated to plug in. It's like, no, I've balanced this in such a way that, a couple hours a day is fine. And so even on vacation, if there's things you have to do, you can do it like when your kids go to bed or before they wake up and still be fully present and enjoy those moments in the way that you want to and not feel like you have to be tied to, the work.
Yes, I so agree with that. And I think it's like so many people have this commitment to their phone, this addiction with like constantly working. And so, what I just did a training on this where it's like you are constantly looking at your phone, you're constantly feeling like you have to do more and more because of the expectations out there that we're working all the
Yes.
time. And then you're actively marketing, yeah, I only work a few hours a day, but you're literally filling the other 6 hours with looking at your phone. Did someone DM me? Did someone message me? And it's like, that's why you feel burned out. It's not actually because you're working more, it's because you can't actually rest. And so you have to fill your own cup. And that is one of the reasons I wake up at 5 a.m. and I still get 8 or 9 hours of sleep, but it's like I wake up at 5 a.m., I meditate, I work out. And I have so many people tell me, like, I could never do that. Or like, I'm not one of those 5 a.m. girls. And I'm like, that's okay. You find your own time in your day. But this works for me for that reason so that I can actually disconnect, be present with my body and myself without my mind running a million miles an hour, and then I can actually focus.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I've been listening to a couple different audiobooks like back and forth, and it was really, really fascinating and just for me, I'm like definitely a believer in, signs or like little things happening here and there that I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's like there's a resounding theme happening. And so one of the books I was reading earlier this week, he was talking about that, the theme of like meditation and the importance of meditation and being able to sit with yourself in silence and like how important it is to learn that skill. And then the other book I was reading, entirely different genre of book, but she also was touching on this book I'm absolutely loving. It's called Uncaged, Glennon Doyle. But
I love that book. I've read that.
literally she started talking about how she learned how to like sit with herself and to like learn how to feel into like her knowing of things versus what people are telling her around her. And I'm like, this is the same theme. And like even for you, it's like having developed that skill of being able to like have that time just really unplugged, like that is not nothing. And I think we so often, especially with how busy we tend to make ourselves, we forget that like sometimes it's not, the success is not in the doing more. It's in the slowing down and really getting to sit with yourself and allowing yourself to have that time to really like feel into knowing what you need to do next or what is the next thing. And your intuition actually has a lot more, holds a lot more than
Yes.
what you acknowledge sometimes. And so just be like trusting that you actually know the things that you need to know to be able to do the things that you want to do and like fulfill your dreams, like that is everything.
Oh, yes, so well said. It's like self-care is a money-making move.
Yeah.
Self-care is what allows me truly to hold it all. Everyone's like, Annie, I don't know how you do it all. And it's like because I care for myself so deeply and I actually honor my intuition and my yeses and nos. I actually was chatting to someone today about investing with them, and I was like, this feels like a fuck yes for me, but this for some reason doesn't, and I don't know why. I can't even logically explain it. And so I'm just going to honor that because every time I don't honor the like, I'm not sure, this is murky, it's like something happens, I end up resenting it, and it's like I'm literally only available for the fuck yeses right now. And it doesn't have to make sense. And especially when it doesn't make sense, I still honor that. It's like it only opens doors like massively that I didn't even see were there. And so I love that. I think it's so true of like, meditation has also changed my life. And I was one of those like CrossFit high intensity junkie girlies. Like I literally did CrossFit till I was 39 weeks with my first daughter. And I started meditating about a year ago. I've done like 600 activations and I am a different person. Like I have so much, like my nervous system is 100% regulated. And I attribute that. Of course, there's inner work done, there's therapy, all the things, but meditation has been the big needle mover there. It's like learning to sit
Mm.
with that.
I love that. I love that because even traditionally in the online space, you hear so much talk about strategy and this is the strategy and that's the strategy and here's the framework that you need to follow. And I think sometimes the best framework is the learning to trust yourself and be able to lean into you and that inner voice of like what feels aligned. And it's interesting that you say like when you're making investment decisions or decisions for your business, like anytime that you've leaned into something that felt a little off, like it's that is 100% me. Like there have been a few times over the last year or two that that has been a situation for me where I'm like, maybe this is the right choice, but I'm not really sure where else to go. So like, fuck it, let's just try it. And then it ends up panning out like a very interesting or not so great way where I'm like, that could have been better. And hindsight, it was my intuition saying, like, hey, there are other things that you should lean on right now, or there are other routes that you can take. And I think even if you don't know what that looks like right then, listening to that, like, that is such a gold nugget for sure.
Yes, it's like your body knows. Your body knows things that you don't, like your subconscious body knows things that like they can't even communicate to you. And so it's like learning to listen to that. And I think that goes with what you were saying about like alignment and strategy. It's the pendulum can swing and the industry loves to say it's one or the other or it's all this or all that. And it's like the truth is, if there was a perfect blueprint, I know you know this, we'd all follow that and we'd all be millionaires or billionaires. And it's like they're not. And we've been conditioned to believe that there are rules because that's what society has led us to believe. You should climb the corporate ladder, get married at this age. Being successful means you have two kids and your husband's a lawyer or a doctor. It's like that's not how it works anymore. And in the entrepreneur space, you're literally signing up for forging your own path, like trailblazing, innovating, disrupting your own path. And so by definition, if you're innovating, you actually are not modeling anyone. And so you have to get comfortable in the discomfort of being like, I haven't seen anyone try this. So like with your newest offer coming out, right? It's like I haven't seen anyone do this. And it's like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but like who cares? Like I've never seen this done, so damn, I'm gonna do it. And so I
Yeah.
think it's just like alignment is when you actually follow the spark. And so your intuition has a lot to do with alignment. And when you can't, there's too much noise to even listen to the intuition, that's where the breakdown happens because you're the forcing function of building someone else's roadmap.
Yep, it's so true. Yeah, and it's exciting too in so many ways because it's like we get the chance to carve the path or innovate these things that like you look and you see, big name companies or organizations that are like first in their field and it's like those things came as a byproduct. Like those industries came as a byproduct of that one person deciding I'm going to do something different that hasn't been done with no proof of concept. And like maybe there was a little bit, right? Like maybe they had done market research or like even in touching on like my new offer that I'm going to be launching, like that I have some market research that says like there's a need for this, right? Because I've been working on one-off projects with people or people have been in my inbox like requesting one-off projects about certain things that I'm like, huh, okay, there needs to be something there that's bigger than just one-off projects that's able to serve those people in a broader way. But it's like, even with that, it's not easy to make those decisions. It's like I'm leaning on my gut feeling of it's worth trying and seeing what happens and allowing yourself, I think, to the space to say, okay, I'm going to do that. And also trust myself enough to know that even if it flunks, like even if it's not a hit, even if it's not like the next big thing, you can evolve it along the way to make it into that or to make it into whatever it's meant to be then. But it's not necessarily like having to have all of the how or the why even right then. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna do it and like take it day by day and see what happens. That's the magic.
Yes, I so agree. And it's like the faster you fail as an entrepreneur, the faster you make decisions, the faster you're going to find success. And I think at the beginning for me, it's like you're just flying blind and just being like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to do it all. And that's exactly why I was so successful so quickly is because I actually wasn't looking for a roadmap. And then it wasn't until I like almost hit my first six figures that I slowed down to look around and being like, okay, it must be this strategy. It must be that one. I invested thousands into strategy master classes and courses. And I was like, excuse my French, but I was like, bitch, you know strategy. You literally have practiced it for decades and literally millions of dollars in sales and assets that you have supported. And you're trying to look for this literally 20-year-old entrepreneur that has no business experience in the world that has scaled her business for the answers. And not to say there's no discrediting of other people. That's not what I'm here to do. It's more of just like so often we're looking to others, we're giving our power away, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, when it's like, no, no, honey, you have the answers. You just need to look inside yourself and quiet all the freaking noise.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And I'll never forget, it's funny, like even in the, you know, industry that I'm in, it's like I've pivoted into more of the creative space and branding and things like that. And I never forget when I first started like marketing branding as a offer that I had and somebody posting online. It was just somebody I follow that I have no idea who she is. Like she's just a branding guru or whatever on Instagram. And so I followed her because I love her content and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I'm curious. And she had posted something like a week after I launched my first branding offer and was like, if you're a branding expert in quotations, like who markets their branding work, but you design in Canva still, you're not actually a branding expert. And I was like, what? And so I'm like reading this carousel, and she's just basically was bad mouthing those that market their branding skills in Canva are like not an authentic branding expert. Like if you're not using Adobe or Photoshop or Figma or like these other platforms, then that is what defines you. And I remember reading that and thinking like, am I not legit? And then I really like literally my thought process was like, oh no. I'm not a legit person. Nobody's gonna buy from me. And then I literally 5 seconds later was like, but who the hell are you? Like
I
who
was
do you
waiting for
who
that
do you
moment. I was
think you
like,
are to decide that that is exactly the thing that determines those things. And I think so much of our human nature is to allow those moments to define our decision making and feel like, oh, shoot, did I do something wrong? Is this the right path? Like, am I going to have success because this person's telling me, like, oh, it's like those things are going to come up inevitably. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion on what creates success or what anything should look like. And even in the traditional job force, like, we're raised to believe that corporate jobs are the way and you must have a degree or you'll fail. And if you go to school to be a photographer, like you're going to be a starving artist on the street, and it's like those things are not what defines your success. Like you get to decide and you get to define that for yourself. And it's all about just truly like leaning into that belief.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's like also being so self-certain that when things like that are said, it's like, well, that's your opinion, man. Like that's for you, but for me,
Yep.
this is what I believe. And so I think that's been a part of my journey too, because it's the people pleasing comes in, and then the inner confidence and conviction that comes with doing the damn thing over and over again and learning to fully, wholly trust yourself. And so I'm at the point in time where it's like there's literally nothing anyone can say. Of course, I'm still a human and I have feelings, but there's nothing anyone could say that would actually hurt me because I am so self-certain in who I am. It's like you challenge my integrity, you challenge these things. It's like it's only going to hurt me if I have if there's an ounce of truth inside of where I believe that to be true. And so
Mm.
that has been such a healing journey for me where I've reached this point where now I feel this safety to speak my truth because I don't have those wounds of like, well, what if they judge me? It's like, well, that's them just judging themselves. That's them seeing something in themselves and me that they don't like. And that's okay. That's because we're literally this universe is shades of gray. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And so when people try and put you in a box, that's their belief system, not yours. And so I think just recognizing that and being like, yeah, like I don't actually want to build this business by anyone else's rules. I want to build it by mine because rules are arbitrary. Like rules actually don't exist. They're like a social construct. So it's just we could get really meta here, but I won't go there.
Yeah. No, I love it. And it's such a testament to, your story of, breaking the rules and being able to go above what, society has conditioned us to believe is like the resounding theme that I see with you and your mission and teaching other women how to have all the things that they want in this life. And it's so special. So I'm excited to see, as you continue to grow, like where your journey takes you with the amount of women that you're able to impact, because I think honestly, truly, like the sky is the limit and the work that you're doing is so special because it's really about teaching women to do that and not fit into this cookie cutter box of what is it that, Annie's teaching me. It's like, yes, I can give you my insights and you get to decide for yourself what feels aligned for you. So I just have nothing but great things to say about you and for you for what's to come. Really
Oh,
excited to watch it unfold.
thank you. So much gratitude for you and likewise. And I think, yeah, it's like to sum it up, it's really about your lived story and living a better story. And when we're able to live that story and then tell it, it's like if we want to really distill it all down, that's what it's about, right? Living a better story and getting to tell that. It's like that propels any business forward. That is marketing. So I
Yep.
love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, Amazing. Well, Annie, thank you so much for joining me on Grit to Glow. I'm so excited for our listeners to hear all of this, and I know they're going to have so many takeaways. So before we close out, can you just let our listeners know where they can get into contact with you or find you on social media?
Of course, you can find me on Instagram at Anne Whitney _, and I will have you drop a link for me of
Yep.
my website. Awesome.
Yep. Everything will be in the show notes for our guests. And you guys, until next week for our next episode of the Seven Figure CEO series, we will see you then. Thank you for joining me for another incredible episode of Grit to Glow. If today's episode spoke to your heart or sparked an idea, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Be sure to screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at Desert Lux Creative. I always love connecting with you guys, so don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss a moment. And if you feel called to it, please leave a review so more women like you can find our show. Remember, the glow up is yours for the taking, so keep going, and I will see you in the next episode.